I have a question here from Paul, and I always like questions like this because it's about strength and conditioning. That's my background, if you didn't know already. So Paul asks, should I be doing this all season? That is strength and conditioning. I'm going to try and get a lot done over the winter, but I find it harder to get a session in when the season starts. So, firstly, Paul's off to a great start because he appreciates that putting strength and conditioning in is really important. And so it probably puts him ahead of a lot of triathletes and endurance athletes who maybe they don't think that strength conditioning is, you know, not worthy of some attention, but maybe they just feel that they haven't got it time to fit it in alongside all of the other training they've got to do. And that is a mistake, and that's something I'll come on to later. But Paul's particular question is, should I be doing this year round? Now, my answer to that is a very definite yes. I don't know how old Paul is, and that is important because there are certain things you can get away with when you're younger. You can pretty much eat what you like, or eat most of what you like, but you can also ignore a lot of the things that you probably should be doing because your body is resilient and young enough to be able to provide that for you anyway. So you still have bounce and explosion and power in your legs and your arms when you're young, but you do tend to lose that when you're older. You also lose muscle mass. So if Paul was over the age of 45 or 50, I'd say it's really, really important to be doing strength and conditioning all year round. I would say if he's a bit younger, not that it's not important, but that he might be able to get away with not doing strength and conditioning year round. So in order to answer Paul's question directly, yes, you should be doing it year round, and here's how you do it. In the winter, you make it a priority. So you identify at least two options for sessions during the week, and you hit those consistently. And then as the spring comes around and you probably feel like you need to be ramping up the training volume and the intensity in order to prepare for your race, you can change the emphasis of the strength program a little bit to a maintenance load. And whilst that means you probably should still be doing two sessions a week, it also means that you can reduce the amount of time you spend on this. So maybe you, instead of having a dedicated workout in the gym where you spend 45 minutes on your strength training, although I do think that 45 minutes is probably still a little too much time to be spending in the gym. I think you can get a really good workout done in maximum of 30 minutes if you are clever about the exercise you do and the way in which you combine them. So you spend 30 to 40 minutes in the winter. Maybe you're trying to build a bit of muscle if you're an older athlete and you want to try and restore or just hold on to some of the muscle mass you've got. Maybe you're focusing on building overall strength and power, in which case you're lifting heavier, but you probably need longer rests because that's quite fatiguing. As you come into the summer, you just need to maintain that. So you probably only need one session a week of maximal strength. You might need one shorter session of muscular endurance, which is lighter weights and higher reps, but you still need to do a lot of work that helps with the stability and robustness of the joints because they're the areas in a triathlete where you tend to find the injuries. So in a swimmer, you tend to find injuries around the rotator cuffs in the shoulder. In cyclists, you quite often find problems with the lower back or the glutes and the hips. And in runners, you often find a lot of problems around the ankles and the calves. And some of that can come from tight hips as well. So I'd be emphasizing more work with those. And those are small exercises, fairly simple, low weight. So not a great deal of fatigue or soreness to come afterwards. If at all, you should be sore after a strength training session, but that's another topic. And you can use those exercises to form part of a deliberate warm up before you go on your bike or go in the pool. So you can do a lot of what I call shoulder saving exercises using a TheraBand and doing what I call rotator cuff work. So turning the arm from in to out, and those of you watching on the video will be able to see this, and from out to in with a resistance. And you can use a band fixed to a door handle, or you can lie on your side and hold a water bottle full of sand or something that provides a little bit of resistance. They're small muscle groups, so they don't need a lot of weight. And your program should have those in all year round, but in the summer you can use those exercises to form the basis of your strength program to keep you robust and resilient and therefore consistent throughout your training. And if you can do that and be able to turn up regularly, then the strength program will be doing its job because you're not trying to be a bodybuilder, so you don't need to build huge muscles, and you don't need to be a power lifter or um, play in a sport where strength and power is important, like rugby. You are trying to run, swim, and bike regularly, so you don't want to put on a lot of weight, which you won't do anyway, lifting weights. That's another topic for another day. But you don't need to build huge amounts of strength either. You just need to be able to turn up regularly. So keeping your body resilient is the most important thing. So I hope that helps, Paul. Yes, you should very definitely be doing this 24/7. Well, not 24/7, 7 days a week. And you should be doing this 12 months of the year. You don't need to be doing it 24/7. That's a mistake. But you definitely need to be doing it every week throughout the year. But you can change the emphasis so that it takes less time in the summer. And hopefully that way it'll find its way into your program in a way that's convenient and appropriate for you without it impacting your preparing for events, which is probably one of the things that you've concerned about. Okay, so Paul, thanks for asking that question, a really good one and a really popular and common one as well.